Take a good look at this face, because I'm about to start looking like a fucking Simpsons character. Hello, Champagne Dreamers. Welcome back to my channel. Or if you're new here, I don't know how you found me, but welcome. My name is Janessa, and I am North Dakota's trash queen of glam, geek, and gore. We're going to do something a little bit wild today. I have a couple of competing indie brand products, and we're going to do a wild kind of makeup look. So Sunset Makeup and Indie Beats Cosmetics both do bright, colorful, Crayola crayon inspired foundations. So not skin tone foundations and not cheap carnival face paint. These feel like a liquid foundation, but they are bright colors like orange, purple, pink, blue, green, etc. I have the yellow shades from both of those companies, and we're going to road test them and see how they compare. I'm going to do half my face in Indie Beats Cosmetics and half in Sunset Makeup. And if you are ready to see how that goes, then stick around because we're getting into it right now. So before we get started, the reason why I decided to do this video is because recently there was a little bit of like minor league drama between Sunset Makeup and Indie Beats Cosmetics, because there was somebody on TikTok, as often happens, they found Sunset Makeup's colorful foundations, which were newly launched. Sunset Makeup has done skin tone foundations for a while, but this was their first foray into colorful makeup. So somebody on TikTok found it, made a couple videos, it went a little bit viral, and then Indie Beats was like, bitch, we done been doing this for the last 2 years. So Indie Beats Cosmetics is another indie brand. It's a black-owned makeup brand, and they have been doing these colorful foundations for a couple of years. Now, Sunset Makeup had been doing foundations for a couple of years, but not the colorful. Indie Beats had been doing the colorful, but theirs didn't go viral. And Indie Beats kind of put out, hey, these people never reached out. They never even like acknowledged that we were doing the same kind of thing. Theirs went viral. Ours are just as good, if not better. And she seemed a little bit miffed that the person from Sunset Makeup never reached out to her. The person from Sunset was like, I hadn't heard of them. I didn't know they were doing this. I didn't mean anything by it. And so it was kind of like, it was a great opportunity for both brands to get their name out there. And I actually bought products from both brands. So we're going to try the yellow foundation from both of them. So I'm going to go ahead and wash this clown face off, so that we can, I guess, put on another clown face, but in yellow. We'll be right back. I apologize for the potato face serial killer you see before you. This is just my face. After a long filming day, I wiped off all the makeup, and now we're going to put some more back on. My face is not happy about it. I'm a little bit red. I'm a little splotchy. I have tried to go ahead. I want to make sure I give these the best possible shot. So I used tried and true primers. Nothing wild, nothing crazy. I did a double prime with the Peach Delight and the Strawberry Whip primers. And these are ones that I love to layer, and they give me a great base. So I think that these are going to work really well. I almost went in with my Auric Glow Lust, but I thought, you know what? I don't want anything that's potentially going to mess up these foundations. So I have the Indie Beats face base, and I have the Sunset Makeup foundation in yellow. Now, if you watch my Barbie video, which I'll link right here for your convenience, you'll see all the different colors of these that I bought. I did buy a bunch of different colors, but I don't need like 6 gallons of one color. So the only one that I could get both from the same company that was the same color was yellow. So if you've ever wanted to know what this loudmouth bitch might look like as a Simpsons character, you're going to find out today, because we are going to do this half of the face with Indie Beats, this half of the face with Sunset Makeup. All right, so I am an industrial application. I know this is supposed to be full coverage and give you the full cosplay fantasy, but I am full coverage. I'm an industrial application, so I put like 4 pumps. This is Indie Beats Cosmetics, and I'm going to go ahead and rub this around, because you're supposed to be able to use this just like whatever your drugstore, Sephora, Ulta foundation is, and that's how I use those foundations. So I'm going to do this side. Let's see how it goes. I mean, it's yellow. I mean, it absolutely does feel like foundation. Like, there's nothing about it that feels in any way greasier or grittier than any other foundation that I've used. Now, I do have to say, I'm trying to compare these, so I'm doing half and half because they're both yellow. They might not be exactly the same yellow. So if you notice any differences, that could be what's causing it. But I'm going to do my best to do a real kind of half and half face. And I'm going to use it the way that I use my regular foundations. And with a regular foundation, like with my Beauty that I was wearing earlier, I usually will put one layer down and I'll go and pat it out a little bit. And then I will go in and I'll kind of, with my sponge, I'll smooth it a little bit. And then I will go in and do a second coat, especially like in the cheeks and the areas where I want a little bit more coverage. So we're just kind of putting on that initial layer. And we pat over the ears, of course. This is especially important for yellow foundation because I don't have yellow ears. But especially if you're doing drag makeup and you don't do your ears, your wig better cover your ears because people will notice. And maybe it's just me, but I'll be mean to you. So, there.
I want to be there and baby dance the night away. I let my hair down if I want. Don't you just get tired chasing fame and being pretty all the time? Doesn't sound like fun. You can do better. Let me show you.
So basically when I'm doing my regular foundation, I do one coat and then I do a second coat to make sure. This is the first coat. I'm going to do the first coat of Sunset and then I'm going to do the second coat of both, just so that we can see one coat to one coat, two coats to two coats. This does look very skin-like, but I definitely can see like some little, some of my red patchiness is kind of showing through. So it has a skin-like finish. It's not like a full coverage foundation, but it looks like a foundation and it looks like my skin is yellow. Like it definitely gives me a yellow skin tone. For cosplay, I think that this is probably a great option. Sunset makeup. This little sponge has seen better days, but we're going to have separate sponges for the two different products so that we can make sure that I'm not contaminating by going back and forth. Ooh, this has some brightness. So again, I didn't say that these were necessarily going to be the exact same shade, but we are going to try to make it work as much as possible. I might go back and forth to kind of blend and then... so you'll get a little bit. But this does seem to have a little bit more brightness to it. We're kind of blending. This one, I feel like there's something in my eye. Like, I put it up around the eye area. And I have a little bit of burning that's starting. I have nothing over here. Which is odd because usually when I'm doing like liners and stuff, usually it's this eye that I can go and I don't even notice that I've been there. And this eye is like filing a cease and desist before I even move the pencil to this side of the face. So I don't know. This side does seem to have a little bit of burning, but we'll see. We'll keep going. Not everybody puts foundation right on their eyelid. I do. I do that with all my foundations, so that might be something to keep in mind for this. Now this is definitely... As it's on thick, I think that it looks a lot different than this one, but as I blend it out, I think it gets much more of a blend. So like as I'm working on that line, I think that this one has a tendency to look more, until you blend it out, it looks a bit more yellow and it can then be sheared out to more of this kind of skin-like finish. And I am not a cosplayer. I am not a special effects makeup person. I'm a drag queen clown. So again, there may be other people. And in terms of how those people use it, I'm not an expert in that. This is just for me as a drag queen who might try to do a colorful character. I'm trying this out to see if it would be useful. I hope so, because I have many colors from both companies. But we'll try this out.
What a good time looks like. You can do better, so much better. I don't fit into your box.
I feel like using the end of the sponge, using the end of the product to cover the ear went better on this side than it did on this side. For this side, it's still not as covered, and I had to go back into the foundation a little bit. This one does seem... And now that I go back in, I'm definitely getting a lot of yellow. That's kind of a minor piece of it. I do think that when I was pumping this out, I might have put one pump extra on this side, on the Sunset Makeup side. I thought I did 5 pumps each, but I might have actually done 4 for Indi Beats and then 5 for this. So my thoughts after layer 1 is I feel like this is giving more full coverage than this side, but I feel like the coverage on this side is more even. I feel like this one you see the highs and lows more. It has a tendency, like, yes, I can blend it out with the sponge, but if I'm not really getting in there and working all the different places, I feel like you can see the differences between where there's more product or less product more on this side than this side. So I'm hoping that this is going to even out as I put a second coat on the face. In terms of preferences, I'm kind of a slap it on queen. So I kind of prefer the Indi Beats side just because, like I said, without having to get too fussy with the sponge, I feel like I'm getting more even coverage over here than I am over here. This, the color is a little bit better. It's a little bit more yellow, but I feel like over here it's a little bit more even. And as I go to finesse it, I won't have to do as much work.
Beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens.
All right, so now I've got 3 pumps of Indi Beats, and we're gonna do a second layer on this side.
Without no flaws. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. I want to be silly, baby, dance the night away. I'll kick my shoes up if I want. Let yourself be free, and maybe you will find that there is more to life than being pretty. Honey, let's just face it. You can do better. Let me show you what a good time looks like. You can do better, so much better.
So I'm gonna put one more pump on my hand, and I'm gonna do the neck just to make sure we get good neck coverage. I always contour the neck, so like this doesn't have to be perfect, but I want to make sure we get good coverage so that it has a base before I do any contouring. And again, more on the ear. Really make sure. I'm gonna have yellow ears for days. Yeah, so with the second layer, you can see that this really does fill out. The color is brighter. It definitely feels very even. Still looks very skin-like. I feel like you still see, not in a bad way, but you still see the texture of my skin. It doesn't look like a mask. At least not any more of a mask than when I put on a ton of Oma Beauty foundation or any other foundation. So overall, I'm liking it. Okay, so that is Indi Beats. Now let's do the second layer of Sunset Makeup. And we did 3 to start, so I'll do 3 to start again.
I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no...
Again, a little bit of stinging. This one, I feel like Angie had noticed, and I thought maybe it was just because it was a little bit, it seemed a little bit more full coverage. It does seem to have a little bit of a greenish tinge to it. I do think that it's kind of like, it seems almost like a little bit green yellow. Not bad. I mean, it's still yellow, but when I put it next to this one just feels sort of uncomplicated yellow. This one feels yellow, but like, is she green? Is she not? We're kind of not sure. Rumors are starting around school. And I'm definitely getting some stinging in this eye. And of course, I do this with all my foundations. I go right over the eyes. A little bit of stinging with this one, nothing with this one. I felt almost like a tiny little twinge once, and then it was immediately gone when I was doing the eyelid for the second coat.
You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. You can.
I'm feeling the same thing. I'm feeling like this one has fuller coverage, but it's fussier. I feel like with this one, if there are inconsistencies, I feel like I can get away with them because they look like skin inconsistencies. Even if it's yellow Simpson skin inconsistencies. I feel like this, it doesn't stand out as much. This one, and maybe it's the sponge, maybe this one would do really well with a brush. I don't tend to use brushes for foundation. Because I put so much on, I inevitably get streaks. And I definitely am tearing up, and so there's a little bit of a situation happening around my eyes. But this one is definitely fuller coverage. Like, this one is definitely, you can see a difference between this side and this side. I'm going to do that extra pump. We've got the Sunset makeup. I'm going to do that extra pump so I can do the neck. I feel like it's easier for the sponge to make disruptions. So like as I'm trying to smooth this out, it smooths out nicely. But if I move the wrong way or put too much pressure the wrong way, I feel like it's easier to get like weird dents and indentations. But it definitely has a fuller coverage. It definitely has a slightly more vibrant yellow color to it. I mean, this is like tennis ball out of the canister. This is like tennis ball, your dog's been playing with it for a couple weeks. So like, they're the same but different. But this one is much fussier. Like I just tapped it a few times and now I feel like I have to redo this entire cheek. This one definitely, I feel like I just want to keep playing with it because I feel like I keep seeing little imperfections. And this one I feel like it's not as vibrant, but I like the way that it looks overall. So I'm just going to stop where it's at. We're going to let this sit. We're going to let it oxidize for a hot second. I am going to pick out some other makeup because obviously I want to see what it looks like as a face. So I'm going to probably play with these Made by Mitchell color cases to build in a little bit of contour. I got to figure out what color contour to use with a yellow face. And we'll figure out some eye products and we'll come back in a little bit.
Baby, let your head down, be a little wilder, baby, kick.
So as I was picking out contours and doing some other things, I did notice the Sunset makeup side really creased on the eyelid. So not that this is meant to be eyelid makeup, but again, if I use it the way I use my foundation, which is what they say, I put foundation on my lids, and so this definitely very creasy. This side, not really creasy at all. I have very hooded eyes. And this side, I'm seeing a little bit. If I really close my eyes, there's a little bit of a crease. But this is just like crease-a-palooza. So I was about to put an eye primer on, so I thought before I did that, we should capture this. All right, so I did go ahead and prime my eyes with the P. Louise Basic Color Primer in Yummy Yellow. The reason why I did this, I'm not necessarily doing a yellow eye look, but I typically use a skin-toned eye primer. I usually use the Urban Decay Primer Potion in Eden, or I use the Ulta Matte Eye Primer that both have kind of this beigey skin tone / lighter than my skin tone color to it. So I thought I would use this because it's a slightly lighter yellow, so that kind of approximates. I've never had yellow skin before, so I don't really know how to translate everything. So if it's not perfect, just know I'm trying. I was like, do I contour in orange? I don't know, but I'm going to try contouring with this Trixie Sticks bronzer. This is in the shade S'more Sun, so this is not the darkest shade that I have, but I think this will be a good option. We'll see how it goes, and maybe if I have to add some orange, but I'm going to try to do this just like I would over my other, and I'll try to do a light one first. I won't go too ham. I mean, my contour is never that even anyway, so... And I'll use the sponges that I used for the foundation for each side. So this side I will use the right sponge. See how it blends in. Because that's something I typically do is I'll take the sponge that I used for my foundation and I do the foundation on the bottom of the little teardrop and then I'll start blending the contour. And then if I want to blend out, buff out where the edge of the cream is, I go over the side that had the foundation on it. I mean, that doesn't look like a bad blend. I think we're going to use orange blush, but I think brown contour was the right option.
Shoes off, you don't have to hide it. Baby, let your head down, be a little wilder. Baby, kick your shoes off, don't hide it.
So this one I may have gone down with the sponge a little bit more than I intended because I lost that dark line. But I do feel like it's blending pretty nicely, but it does seem to be blending into the yellow. And I don't want to completely lose that depth. So let's go in and bring in a little bit more brown and then just kind of The trouble with these Trixie sticks is because they're heart-shaped, I feel like I can't have it not be lined up, so I feel like I have to push more of the stick out than I want. And then I have to turn it back the other way to get that back into the tube. And I don't think I did the right thing with the sponge, so I'm going to do a little bit more. I think I went right in with the bottom. That might have been why it blended away more of the brown. I think I needed to do more on the side like I did with the other side. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to go back and blend with the bottom of the sponge where the makeup had been. And I wouldn't be me if I didn't have uneven contour. So that may not be the fault of the foundation. We're testing it out to see if they blend or not, but if there are application errors, that absolutely could be mine. Oh, and I almost just switched over to the other side without switching sponges. Oh, no. So this one, I've got a little too much bronzer in the sponge. I need to clean up some of this area. So I'm going to put a little bit more, just a tiny bit of this, because I need to cover over some of this on this side, because it's starting to get up onto the cheek where I'm going to do blush, and it's becoming a little bit muddied, which again could be an application error. It could absolutely be me. Definitely need more of this to go back to just yellow. But then as I correct it, I get that sponge motion in there, which I don't love. So some of it could be an application error, but again, if I buy these products, I'm the one applying them. So if it's going to lead to me doing application errors, then that affects how I review the product. So let me live. All right, so in the Mitchell color case, this is the Vivids, I think. I forget what these are called. I have the Vivids and the Pastels, and I think this is the Vivids. This is the orange. I'm going to work a little bit in next to the contour. I'm going to scoop some out onto this palette, and then I'm going to use this fancy sponge. I only have one of these right now that's clean and usable, so I'm going to use this on both sides, but it shouldn't interact with the foundation too much. The foundation shouldn't matter as much because I'm putting a blush over it. So hopefully this will work. Okay, so far I'm liking the orange with this. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no gloves. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. I don't fit into your box. Beauty queens without no gloves. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. This could absolutely be a user error, but I do have to say the Indi Beat side is working better with the cream products than the Sunset makeup side. And again, that could be because this is my dominant hand, so I'm working across my body. But in terms of how this is blending out, I don't like it as much as I like what's happening on this side. So again, some of that could be related to just the preferences, the sides, but I feel like the way this one is mixing and mingling with the foundation, is different than this side. So I'm preferring this side so far, but this is also my dominant side. But when I do my makeup, it's not always the dominant side that turns out better. Sometimes, for whatever reason, the side that I'm supposed to be good on is the side I fuck up, and this side comes out perfectly. So do without what you will. I'm just saying that in terms of just the impressions of using this first time, I'm preferring the cream products with this. But now, let's get into some powders. So I'm going to start with Butterfly. This is a Benefit blush. This is a bright orange. I'm going to work that in, again, near the contour. This is something I do all the time, where I put down my cream products first, and then I go over them with some powder blushes and then a highlight. This is going to be very orange. Oh, very orange. Okay. Very orange, and I knew it was going to be darker than the cream, so I was like, I want to start it down in the contour. But I do like the way that that's blending into those. So now I'm going to take Butterfly over on the Sunset makeup side. And again, we're going to start in the pocket because it's going to be intense. And again, I'm crossing the body, so keep that in mind. I'm bringing it up. It's going to be a little bit blush drapey. I do feel like and it could be because this already went over a cream side. Again, I'm not switching brushes. This feels like it's pulling a little bit more. Like, I feel like it's having a harder time just going over the foundation. It could be that foundation from both sides is starting to clog onto the brush, but that is something that I notice. And now I'm just going to go kind of along the hairline a little bit. I usually do a little contour to kind of darken this up, and since we're doing the orange, we'll just do that. And now as I go back over here, this doesn't feel like it's pulling. So I don't think it's just that I'm using the same brush. I'll use the other side of the brush to see if that helps, but this side is definitely pulling, and it's sticking more, because see how this even stayed more orange as I was going across? And now this is... This forehead is a choice.
You know, like, I don't know what's going on, but she knows what she's doing.
Where the last people standing, still dancing when the lights come on. The music.
So, just one powder blush so far. I do feel like this side struggled more. The Indie Beat side is kind of winning in terms of this. Now again, if you are a cosplayer or you're doing something else, that's not necessarily my journey. I am a drag queen, I'm a glam queen, and so even if I was doing a character, I'm still going to use my powder and cream products that I use for my regular face. I'm just using different colors in a slightly different way. So if you use all cream products or you bring in some theatrical products, this might, on either side, might work for you, but I am finding it a little bit easier to work on this side. This side is having a little bit more of that struggle bus. I'm going to try to lighten up the edge of the orange with this sponge, and maybe we'll even go up here to try to soften whatever Frankenbrow is going on up here. There we go. Just a nice ombre.
Why did you do so much down into your forehead?
Because once you put the wig on, the wig comes fairly down. So, like, it's not going to be nearly as much when... Because I do about that much with the contour. So, it just was really harsh until I blend the edges.
Yeah.
There we go. That's much better. All right, now I'm going to add a little bit of shimmer into the blush before we choose a highlight. This is from Odin's Eye. This is from the Solmana 2 collection. This is Sienna Luster. And just to make sure I'm being fair, I'm using the same brush, but I'm going to start on this side, and then I'm going to start on this side. So this is kind of a light, shimmery blush, and I want to kind of put this up a little more onto the cheek, going towards the apple of the cheek, to give us a little bit of that shine. And up around, because again, we'll do a highlighter here. That's pretty. I do like that. Okay. There we go. I do kind of like that. It's bringing a little bit of that peach. I like it. I was going to do a peach highlighter, but this is shimmery enough that I think I'm going to use my tried and true from Blend Bunny, the Noctilucent. I'm going to use Enlighten, which is the yellow gold shade. Beautiful. I love that yellow gold in there. And blending it in with that peachy orange. Usually I do all of this after I have an eye look, but I was like, you know what? Let's get the face done. And then let's build some color in, because I'm going to stick with the orangey yellow for the face, but I'm thinking about wearing a blue wig with this just for a real contrast. And so I might do like a blue green look.
Fading, but this is our favorite part. I used to feel like an outcast, but I think I'm alright after all. 'Cause you make me feel like I belong.
Let's do my signature Domo Origato Mr. Roboto nose.
You like me for me without all of the glitter, and you make me laugh just like a little kid, and all my insecurities just disappear when you're here with me. I've been
Alright, so we're going to take a quick close-up of this overall kind of face look, and then we'll start doing the eyes.
to this feeling, never felt so high. Won't even care if you and I come.
So like I said, I'm going to do a blue wig with this, and so I'm going to go into this Gavisi Beauty. I've been loving cake liner eyebrows, so I'm going to use this blue shade to draw the shape of the eyebrow. So I'm really hoping I get this to the right consistency, because what I want to happen is I want to paint it on and I want blue eyebrows. I don't want it to mix with the foundation and have green eyebrows. And if we learned anything from Ziploc bags, children of the 80s, yellow plus blue makes green. I think some people learned that even without Ziploc bags, but don't worry about it.
She primary. She questionable.
I don't know who I would be on The Simpsons, but I would definitely be in my villain era. Although it won't be my villain era when I'm... This one came out a little bit more sheer, but these cake liners, as they start to dry, so it absolutely, it could be having to do with the formula. It may have dried up a little bit. I don't feel like it's something where it's mixing. I think it's just lighter because I hadn't added any additional liquid back in here. There we go, much better. Still maybe a little bit different than this side. This side just came out. So it may be mixing a little bit with the foundation, but having a little bit more liquid, it's much more on par. The fact that they don't match is all me. I'm even making them less similar. I made this one blockier. This one is
You
rough.
sure did.
Crashing down tonight, I'll let it hit me. It feels different whenever you're around. If I'm blue again tomorrow, that's alright. 'Cause I'm so damn happy now.
So I think once the whole face is done and once we have a wig on, it will be less intrusive. But the fact that this is the only thing that's blue, I just couldn't get them to match, but they don't seem to really be mixing with the foundation. The foundation does not seem to be impairing me from using my cake liner. It's just my skills that are impairing me from using my cake liner. So that's not their problem. All right, so now we're going to move on to eyeshadow. I never do eyeshadow last. This is very weird for me, but we're going to do it. So I am going to do a blue eye look, hopefully take some of the focus away from these brows. And if I want to do blue, why would I not pick this palette from Beauty Bay? This is, what is it, the Midnight palette? Yes, the Midnight palette. We love this. So many beautiful blues. I'm going to use this. Now this may still turn a little green because I'm putting it over a yellow foundation, over a yellow primer. But this is a primer that sets pretty well, so the change may be minimal. But I'm going to start with this shade down here, Mist. And we'll see if it starts to turn too green, I'll turn it in a more teal direction. But we're going to start with the idea that we're doing blue. And at least we have blue brows to match the wig. Looking like it's staying pretty blue, so way to go, Beauty Bay.
When I'm at my darkest, you're always there to pick me up. I don't think that I'll tell you enough that I love you and how you light me up. I used to feel like an outcast, but with you I know that I belong. Like it's us against the world.
So I'm going to go into this kind of cornflower shade. I was looking at Cerulean, which is more of like a real kind of cyan blue. And this is a little bit more of a cornflower blue. I want this tone.
You like me from me without all of the glitter, and you make me laugh just like a little kid, and all my insecurities just disappear when you're here with me. I've been a stranger to this feeling, never felt so high. Won't even care if you and I come crashing down tonight. I'll let it hit me if it's different, never you're around. If I'm blue again tomorrow, that's alright, 'cause I'm so
Then we have this darker matte called Denim. I'm going to bring that around to finish the shape of the eye.
happy now. You were my best friend. Didn't care about the rules, good on the weekends. I'll be in fools, drifting to deep space. So brave and so stupid, just like the movies. I was gonna stay in the fight with you, just thinking we would do this until we couldn't do it. Each and every high, every night with you. You and me so clueless. We were just broken, shattered, singing along to nothing matters. Stray around like nighttime rumors. We were in too deep in your worn out sweaters, thinking we'll be young forever, driving in your mom's old hatchback.
So I'm not going to do a ton of shimmer because this is not about testing this palette, because I know Beauty Bay works well. And I don't need a shimmer look with this because, again, the shimmer is going on top of an eye primer that's on top of the foundation. This video is about the foundation, so let's get her done. So I'm going to take this shimmer shade, Shield, and I'm going to take that on the inner corner and I'm going to bring it onto the lower lash line. And then I'll blend it into one of the darker mattes on the outer part and just connect it up.
In too deep. Cause I'm thinking we'll be young forever,
just a simple little look. It's not perfect, but this is good enough for us to test the foundation. I'm going to go put some mascara on, put some lashes on, get a wig on, get re-dragged, and then we'll come back for the final thoughts.
Gonna give yourself some lips?
Oh, and some lips. Oh, shit, yeah. All right, so here is the final look. This side, the base is Indi Beats Face Base. This side is Sunset Makeup. What do we think? I think we were able to come up with a really fun look. I think I was able to get them to work together cohesively. Now, let's get into a final zoom in and then some final thoughts. All right, so final thoughts. For me, for my preferences in terms of how easy it was to use, how well it worked with the other products that I use, I would say the winner is the Indi Beats Cosmetics Face Base. I do really like this. Now this had less immediate color going on. I definitely had to build it up to get more of the rich yellow, but it looked more even and it looked more like real skin tone. So if yellow Simpson people were a thing, this would be the foundation they would use. It really does look like skin. The Sunset makeup is not bad by any means. This one is also good. This one went on a lot thicker to start. It's got a lot more full coverage, but it's just a lot fussier. And there were some parts that you saw throughout the video where obviously my technique could have led to some problems, but I felt like this side, especially with the cream products, struggled a little bit more than the Indi Beats. I really did like the way that this worked with all the other products. But either of these, I could do this full face with either of these and be perfectly happy. Now that I have the full face on, I feel like you don't really see that big of a difference. It just looks like a face. So I think you could be happy with either one of these, and that's great because both of these companies are sold out of several of the colors at any given time. So I think you could go to either one. I don't think either one is better. I am excited that I have more from both of them to play with, and you're definitely going to see more crazy, colorful looks like this, but I really do like this for the yellow particularly. In terms of comparing them, I think the Indi Beats was better, but I would absolutely recommend either of them. If I was on The Simpsons, who would I be? I think I'd be a villain. And I'd hope I'd have yellow arms, too. So that is the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a good time. I certainly did. I want to play more with makeup and colorful makeup and these creams, the Mitchell cases. I want to play with those creams. I want to play with these colorful cosplay foundations. I'm excited to do more stuff like this. So if you want to see more, if you have ideas, let me know down in the comments. Because if you've seen my Barbie video, you know I have red and orange and pink and purple and blue. I have lots of different colors. There's lots of things that we can do. So definitely let me know down in the comments what you'd like to see. While you're down there, don't forget to give me that thumbs up to tell me you appreciate the video. You appreciated me turning myself into this yellow Simpsons monster that you see before you. Or if you were like, this is a bridge too far, this yellow face that you are doing is too much, I don't like it, I can't stand it, kill it with fire, then go ahead and give me that thumbs down. It is all engagement. The algorithm isn't a picky bitch, and neither am I. Also, while you're down there, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell icon so you'll be notified of all future uploads. I try really hard to make sure I have at least one video a week. And sometimes, if you're lucky, you might even get a bonus video. Ooh, yellowrific. If you'd like to chat, banter, or commiserate between uploads, all of my social media will be linked down in the description box below, including a link to my website, The World of Champagne, at JanessaJ.com. Thank you so much for watching. I love and appreciate all of you. I had so much fun. This was a lot of fun. I want to do more of this colorful, kooky, cosplay sort of makeup. And I hope you're along for the ride with me because I had such a good time. And until I see you again, bye. Both of these companies are sold out of a lot of this half of the faith. Faith?
Okay, no. Oh, okay, no, okay.
Okay, no, okay.
Okay, no, okay. Bye-bye.
Dun 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 dun.